Hello, welcome once again to Your Questions. I am Ibrahim K. Asante and coming to you from the Wahab Adam Studios here in Ghana. With me today to help answer your questions is Maulvi Shamsuddin Boateng. Today we are going to look at issues of keeping pets like dogs, what Islam talks about that or says about that, and morality issues. Keep your dial here and don't change it. Keep your questions coming through africa@mta.tv. Join us on Your Questions. Hello, welcome once again to Your Questions. With me is Maulvi Shamsuddin Boateng. Welcome, sir, once again to Your Questions.
Thank you very much.
Today we are having questions coming all the way from Mauritius.
Alhamdulillah.
And without wasting time, we pick up the first question from Mauritius.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Aftab Wasur. I'm from Mauritius, and my question is, how are the Muslims viewed by the general public, and what is the real face of Islam?
Well, that's the first question coming from Mauritius. How do you think Muslims are perceived by the general public vis-a-vis the reality of what Islam or Muslims stand for?
The meaning of Islam is peace and then submission to the will of Allah. So if Islam means peace and submitting to the will of Allah, then that means Muslims are to live within their community in harmony and peacefully. But what we see around these days is the fact that especially the media portray Islam to be a violent religion. And then Islam, they claim Islam was spread by the sword.
Is Islam not a violent religion?
Not at all.
Jihad, terrorism,
Islam
killings?
has never been a violent religion. And this, their perception and their teachings, they take it back from during the Middle Ages. And usually they refer to the teachings of Imam Ghazali and some other scholars. But Islam is not about Imam Ghazali or some other scholars. Islam is about the Holy Quran and then the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never forced anybody to accept Islam. In the same way where the Holy Quran talks about La ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in Islam. You can't just force somebody to accept Islam. So this...
Are you sure? Because there are several instances where Muslim parents are alleged to have forced their children to be Muslims. And if they say they want to be, they just sack them and disown them. Is that non-Islamic?
That's why I said Islam is not about the practices or teachings of a scholar or somebody else. But we derive the teachings basically from the Holy Quran and that of the practice of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The practice of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the interpretation of the Holy Quran. Was there any instance that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used the sword for somebody to accept Islam? Never. It never happened. You will not get it anywhere. In the same way, the same applies to the companions, even to the extent that whenever they are going for a defensive war, they are to protect. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to tell them that they should not fight whoever is not fighting them. They had no right to kill a child. They had no right to kill women and even religious leaders. And they had no right to burn farms and even cut down trees. These were the directives and teachings given to the soldiers of Islam. So if these the teachings of Islam, then if somebody else is doing whatever the person, it pleases the person. Usually what is going on is political. It's actually political, not religious activity. It's just fighting over property or territories or countries, but it's not actually the teachings of Islam or for religious purposes.
So
and
people shouting Allahu Akbar and blowing bombs, causing terrorism, is it not Islam?
That is for their selfish gain and their
But they
selfish
say
motive.
Allahu Akbar, which
Yes.
means God is the greatest.
They just
In Islam, in Arabic.
the utterance of Islamic, probably Islamic weddings doesn't make the person a true Muslim. That's why the Holy Prophet Muhammad prophesied about the coming of the Mahdi. He really prophesied that there's going to be a time, and this will be the state of Muslims, that they will be reciting the Allahu Akbar, but without understanding the philosophy of Allahu Akbar. Allah being the greatest. If the Quran is telling you that if you kill a soul, it's as if you have killed humanity, the whole of mankind. And you are saying Allahu Akbar to kill an innocent soul. What's the purpose? To the extent, if you are claiming of fighting jihad, what has a Muslim done? That you enter a mosque and blow yourself there. For what purpose? If not political or for selfish gain or just to get superiority or power. Islam does not encourage these things. So the true teachings of Islam is what Islam Jamaat Ahmadiyya is teaching. And that's why our spiritual leader, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be pleased with him, the superior leader of Ahmadiyya Muslim community, is preaching. And he goes from countries to countries, parliament to parliament, writing to presidents and head of states, reminding them of the true teachings of Islam, organizing symposia and other things, just to tell the public that actually what is happening is not the practice of the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, but the true teachings of Islam is what is stated in the Quran and what the Holy Prophet did and what Jamaat Ahmadiyya is preaching.
But is it not your duty as a Muslim to help dispel the wrong teachings or the wrongdoings of your fellow Muslims?
Yes, that's as what we are doing. We are is part of that, and that's exactly what we are doing. And Jamaat Ahmadiyya has made it compulsory upon itself. Every member tries as much as possible that the person could, he or she could do to explain the true teachings of Islam. And even in Ghana here, actually, the respect that the Ahmadiyyat community is commanding is enormous. And sometimes even when such situations happen, the non-Muslims will come out clear and state that, no, we know you people are different. You people are not like that. So that's what we are doing, to tell the public that the true teachings of Islam is what the Jamaat Ahmadi and Ahmadis are portraying and preaching. If the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, a Muslim, you are not even allowed to hurt your neighbor. And they asked, who is a neighbor? He said, your neighbor is when you count about, let's say, about 50 houses. Your right, in front, your back is your neighbor. He said, and Angel Jibril stressed on this issue that he even thought that it was going to be part of the Quran, an injunction that when one dies, a neighbor could inherit the person. The right of a neighbor, to let a neighbor have peace of mind. That's the meaning of Islam. Peace and submission to the will of Allah. And the submission to the will of Allah is to live in a harmonious and a peaceful environment. So what the people are doing, the so-called Muslims are doing, is not Islamic at all.
Peace and submission to the will of Allah, the true meaning of Islam, according to Maulvi Shamsuddin Boateng, a qualified missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community here in Ghana. You're watching Your Questions. Please keep your questions coming through africa@mta.tv. Let's go to the next question which is coming again all the way from Mauritius.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Athar Banu. I'm from Mauritius. My question is, are Muslims permitted to keep dogs?
Now, this question is quite interesting. Pets, dogs, name them. Are Muslims allowed to keep pets? If so, to be specific to this question, dogs. And if not, why not?
One cannot specifically say that Muslims are not allowed to keep dogs. It's not stated in the Holy Quran. Actually, in the Quran, when you check Surah Al-Ma'idah, that's Quran chapter 5, verse 5, when the Quran was talking about what has been made lawful, it makes mention of dogs. It trained dogs, the meats that a trained dog catches for the hunter is allowed for the hunter to take it, to eat it. If the Quran is saying this, if dogs are not allowed to be kept, then why would Quran say this? So the reason and the misunderstanding that some scholars have attributed to this, and they outrightly condemn it, is because of a saying of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that angels do not enter the houses that have dogs there.
Is it true?
This is just misunderstanding, and they do not understand the significance of this instruction. If dogs are let loose and then they are not chained and they are not trained, that's where the problem comes. Where a dog is left loose and it goes about biting people, where rabies is common, where causing harm and hurting people, that one is not allowed.
But can they cause harm and hurt the angels?
That's why I said they misunderstood that wording. The fourth Khalifa of Ahmadiyya Muslim community, explaining the angels, said it could refer to the angelic people and the righteous individuals that lives in a community. Let's say if I have an unchained dog in my house, just can you imagine that a dog chasing a missionary? Just imagine it. Or a dog chasing any office holder or Jamaat, a respected person in the community. So it's talking about these angelic people that are living in a community. No righteous person or an angelic person or a gentle person would like to go to a house where the dog is not chained, and you'll be running about the dog chasing you up and down, and if you're not careful, you'll be bitten by the dog. So always such people are careful going to such houses and such places. So that's the significance of this ahadith. And then when we can take it to another form of ahadith where we can interpret it in the other way, where it could be those people that have the dog-like nature. Those people, nobody will want to live with such a person who is always taking up fights, and whatever the person sees will talk about it, and then back could not keep secrets, always announcing whatever he sees or whatever deal you have with him. So those people are not liked by gentle people, and no angelic person would like to have anything doing with such a person. But the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has even specifically stated dogs could be kept for security reasons, and even for, as the Quran has stated, for hunting, and also for the purpose of, in the same way, security, keeping especially these nomadic people. Here we say the Fulani herdsmen, the herdsmen, they could keep dogs for protection and all these things. So one cannot say dogs are not allowed to be kept by a Muslim. That one is not established anywhere.
Not established anywhere. Dogs are allowed to be kept by Muslims. Keep your questions coming through africa@mta.tv. We will go a little bit deeper into this pet issue. What about cats? and other pets like keeping parrots, keeping the fishes in aquarium, are they permitted in Islam?
Yes, Islam also speaks a lot about the, the, the environment. And if these things are kept, but we have to always be mindful of their rights. You see, you can't just keep a pet. You can't just keep a pet and throughout the day you don't feed the pet. Then that one is not allowed at all. Where the pet is so hungry, you could see the bones, you can count the ribs, the bones there. That one is not allowed. If you cannot keep the rights of the animals, then that one you don't have to go for them at all. Cats are allowed, parrots are allowed, and these fishes are allowed. But you have to keep in mind their rights as well.
We have to mind their rights as well. We have another question coming through from Mauritius. Shall we please take the next question from Mauritius?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Rashid Rahman and I'm from Mauritius. My question is, do you see a solution to the loss of morality between each successive generation?
Morality between generations, successive generations. Is it going down the hill? Or it really doesn't matter?
The standard of morality has been falling since one can count. And in modern times, the gap between each successive generation is very huge, where the gap between parents and children is very big. And even the gap between uncles and the niece or nephews are also very big, where we are not able to teach them the right moral qualities that a person is supposed to have. And this is really causing havoc. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been sending prophets actually to the nations, because after very many years after the coming of prophets, usually their teachings get corrupted. So it's always after many years, it becomes very necessary for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send a prophet. And we can always testify that those people that live with the prophet, their moral qualities are always different from the other generations, especially if there is a gap of about 100 years. Then you could see that the moral qualities of that generation cannot be compared in any way to those who saw and lived with the prophet. That's why even in Islam, we always say the light of Islam was when the Holy Prophet was alive, and then after the second generation, then the third generation. After third generation, then things started happening. That's why at this age, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also sent the promised Messiah, alayhi salam, that's Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, alayhi salam, to come and re-establish the true teachings of Islam. And now we are also, fortunately, we are also living with the Khulafa, and there's been 5 successive Khulafa, and we are the dispensation of the 5th one, who constantly reminds Muslims and humanity of the importance of morality and the importance of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the importance of being religious. What is really causing the havoc these days is the liberty that people are seeking for. And they think that so far as they are here, we should leave them to do whatever they want. That is what is actually causing this havoc. So the generations that we are living in, is very worse than, let's say, some years ago or the previous generations. And the previous generations can also be compared to the previous ones.
But the current generation seems to be enjoying the benefits of technology. There was no WhatsApp, for example. Now we can WhatsApp. You could not even hardly speak to somebody on the landline, but now you can even see the person in video, real time, live, and speak to the person.
And
Is this
These
generation not more successful than the
that's
previous ones?
success when it comes to materialistic things. Yes, we are enjoying that success. And these success were also prophesied by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that during the time of the Mahdi, we will witness all these things. And these things should be a sign to telling humanity that they have to embrace the Mahdi. So yes, when it comes to materials, yes, these things, there's success. But when it comes to spirituality, there's nothing that we can write home about. The spirituality and morality is corrupt, and where people liberty is at the rise, where somebody when you are drawing their attention to the institution of morality, or you are drawing somebody's attention to what the person is supposed to do, you tell, who are you and why are you telling me what to do? I have the liberty to do whatever I want. And that's what is causing havoc. Yes, there could be that that merge if man goes back to the actual teachings of the prophets, and then the conditions of bayat that the Mahdi brought, the 10 conditions of bayat, and all these speaks about.
Is it similar to the 10 Commandments in the Bible?
No, not at all. The 10 Commandments is something different from the conditions of bayat. The conditions of bayat speaks to the teachings of the Holy Quran. So if the Holy Quran is there and the Mahdi is bringing our attention to the teachings of the Holy Quran, then that's when and only when the morality can be brought back. And if we are following the teachings or the directives and the injunctions of the Quran, and that the teachings of the Mahdi, who came purposely for these reasons, and also the remindings and the directives of the Khulafa, then our moral qualities could be
What
like.
is this word Khulafa? What does it mean?
It means a successor, somebody who succeeds someone. And in Jamaat Ahmadiyya, we believe the promised Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, is the Messiah and the Mahdi, and after him, as prophesied by the Holy Quran and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there will be khulafa, the establishment of khilafat, successorship, after the coming of the promised Messiah on the precept of prophethood. So we believe that these people are in fulfillment. They are fulfilling the prophecy and the saying of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he is a successor to the prophets, that's Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who is the Messiah and the Mahdi.
So the main teachings of the promised Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, does it allude to the fact that successive generations are less successful and are in danger?
Yes,
trouble?
yes, in danger when it comes to morality, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy
Any
Prophet.
antidote he gave?
Yes,
he gives?
the antidote is what I made mention of. That's the Holy Quran, the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Hadith of the Holy Prophet, then the books of the promised Messiah alayhi salam, and yes, and the sayings and the directives of his successors, his representatives. If we are to abide by these things, these are the antidotes. If not, then we are our moral qualities is nothing to be written home about.
If not, then our moral qualities is nothing to be written home about. With me discussing your questions today has been Movi Shamsuddin Boate, qualified missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community here in Ghana. And we are coming to you from the Wahab Adam Studios in Ghana. Please keep your questions coming through to africa@mta.tv. Make a date with us on the same program, your question, and please send your questions through so that we can attempt answering it for you. Always remember, love for all, hatred for none. Thank you and see you in our next episode.